In a quiet village of Umu Aja, midnight was never ordinary. The elders warned that when the wind stopped blowing and the dogs refused to bark, something from the spirit world was passing through. Inside a small mud brick house, Toby stood trembling before his father. His clothing were wet with sweat, his eyes restless, and his lips shaking like a secret was fighting to escape. Papa Toby sat at the wooden table, staring at his son with eyes full of suspicion. Beside him, Mama Toby held her Bible tightly to her chest. Papa Toby said, "Toby, where did you go last night?" Toby looked down. "Answer me," his father shouted. The boy swallowed hard. "Papa, I went to the old forest." The room became silent. Mama Toby gasped. "The forbidden forest?" Toby nodded slowly. Papa Toby rose from his chair. "Who sent you there?" Toby's voice cracked. "Nobody sent me. I followed some boys. They said there is a shrine there that can give protection." Papa Toby slammed his hand on the table. The lamp shook and the frame almost died. "Protection? You entered a shrine your grandfather warned this family never to touch." Toby began crying. "Papa, I did not know. They told me it was only a game." Mama Toby moved closer, begging, "Please, let us pray. Let us call Pastor or the elders." But Papa Toby's pride had already become louder than his wisdom. He pointed toward the door. "Leave this house." Toby froze. "Papa, any child who brings a curse into my house is no child of mine." Mama Toby screamed, "No, he is still our son." But Papa Toby opened the door and pushed Toby into the heavy rain. The boy stood outside, soaked and shaking. Behind him, his mother cried. Before him, the empty road stretched into darkness. And somewhere far away, inside the forbidden forest, something laughed softly. Toby walked without direction. The rain beat his face, but he did not wipe it away. He could still hear his mother calling his name from behind the door. The village road was empty. The motorcycle, no voices, no laughter from palm wine joints, only rain, thunder, and the sound of his own breathing. Then he saw a lantern. At first, it looked far away. Then suddenly, it was close. An old man stood under a mango tree, completely dry, even though the rain was falling heavily around him. The man smiled. "Small boy," he said, "why does your father throw away what the spirits have chosen?" Toby stepped back. "Who are you?" The old man lifted the lantern. His face wrinkled. His eyes deep and his beads moved gently even though there was no wind. "They call him Babakuro." The man said, "I help people who have been rejected." Toby shook his head. "I don't need help." Babakuro laughed softly. "You need more than help. You need protection. Your father has opened the door. Now, the thing you touch in the forest will come looking for you. Toby's eyes widened. What thing? The old man leaned closer. The night mother. Thunder cracked across the sky. Toby turned to run, but the road behind him has disappeared into thick fog. Babakuri stretched out his hand. Come with me before she finds you first. Toby looked at the old man, then looked into the darkness behind him. For the first time that night, the rain sounded like whispers. He followed the Latin. Babakuru led Toby deep into the forbidden forest, where the trees stood so close together that even the moon could not enter. The path ended at the shrine. The path ended at the ancient shrine, covered with red cloth, broken calabashes, old beads, and symbols drawn into the ground. Toby stopped walking. I want to go home, he whispered. Babakuru placed the Latin on the ground. Home rejected you. The spirit will not. Toby shook his head. Please, I don't want this. The old man smiled and disappeared. You already started it when you came here the first time. Tonight, you must finish it. The candles light themselves one after the other. Toby's breathing became heavy. A cold voice moved through the trees. My child, Toby turned quickly. Who said that? Babakuru bowed his head. The fog thickened. A tall female shadow appeared behind the shrine, her long hair moving like smoke. Babakuru said, She has been waiting for a child of your bloodline. Toby cried out. Why me? The old man answered, Because your grandfather broke a promise. And the spirit never forgets. The ground began to shake gently. The candles burned brighter. Babakuru ordered Toby to place his hand on the old shrine stone. Toby refused. Then he heard his mother's voice calling from the darkness. Toby, my son. Toby, my son. Without thinking, he ran towards the voice. But the fog pushed him back into the ritual circle. The ghostly voice whispered again, Accept me, and I will return you to your family. Toby was tired, afraid, and desperate. Slowly, he placed his hand on the stone. The candles went out. For 1 second, the whole forest became silent. Then Toby screamed as white light flashed through his eyes. Far away in the village, Mama Toby woke up suddenly and shouted, My son. Emoni, Umu, Aja had changed. The village that once wake up roosters, market noise, and children running barefooted now wake up to silence. People whispered that strange things had happened in the night. A goat was found tied to a tree it had never been near. A baby cried for hours while pointing at an empty corner. An old woman said she saw a tall lady in white walking backward near the stream. Mama Toby did not sleep. She sat beside the window, holding her Bible, listening to footsteps that stopped whenever she prayed. Baba Toby pretended to be strong, but guilt was eating him quietly. At sunset, he stood outside and looked at the road. Mama Toby came behind him. Go and look for your son. Papa Toby did not answer. She continued, "Pride cannot fight spirit. Bring my child back." Papa Toby closed his eyes. Then a cold wind passed between them, and the lantern beside the door went off. From inside the house, they heard a voice. "Papa." Mama Toby ran inside. Toby, but the room was empty. Only wet footprints crossed the floor and stopped in front of the family mirror. On the mirror, written in a mist, were the words, "He belongs to me now." Mama Toby screamed. Papa Toby finally understood. Throwing Toby out had not removed the curse, it had invited it in. That night, Papa Toby went to the only man who people feared more than the forest, Baba Kuro. He found the old man sitting in a small shrine at the edge of the village, as if he had been expecting him. Papa Toby said, "Where is my son?" Baba Kuro smiled. "You threw him away. Why are you looking for him now?" Papa Toby stepped forward angrily. "Do not test me, old man." Baba Kuro pointed to a bowl of water on the table. "Look." Papa Toby looked into the bowl. At first, he saw only water. Then he saw Toby standing in the forest, eyes white, face empty. Behind him stood the Night Mother. Papa Toby staggered backward. Baba Kuro said, "Your father made a promise to the spirit many years ago. He begged for what? Land and children. In return, he promised the first male child of the next generation." Papa Toby whispered, "That is a lie. The dead may lie." Baba Kuro replied, "But spirits collect debt." Papa Toby's anger faded into fear. Baba Kuro continued, "Your son was not cursed because he went to the shrine. He was called there because your family name was already written there." Papa Toby fell to his knees. "What must I do?" Baba Kuro leaned closer. "Bring him home before the third midnight. If the Night Mother fully enters him, your son's voice will remain, but your son will be gone." Papa Toby left the shrine with a heavy heart. For the first time in his life, he was not afraid of shame. He was afraid of losing his child. The next morning, Toby returned home. He stood at the doorway, barefoot and silent. Mama Toby ran to him, crying, "My son, my son." She held him tightly, but Toby did not hug her back. Papa Toby watched from the corner, his mouth open, but no words came out. Finally, he said, "Toby, forgive me." The boy looked at him slowly. His face was calm, too calm. Mama Toby prepared food, hoping the family meal would bring back peace. But as they sat around the table, the air became heavy. The lamp flickered. The cups began to tremble. Mama Toby stopped eating. Toby smiled faintly. Papa Toby asked, "Where were you?" Toby replied, "With mother." Mama Toby touched her chest. "I am your mother." Toby turned to her, "Not you." The room became cold. Papa Toby stood up. "Toby, who came back with you?" Toby's eyes slowly turned white. A deep female voice came out. "The child was promised before he was born." Mama Toby screamed and began praying. Papa Toby grabbed Toby by the shoulders. "Leave my son." Toby laughed, but it was not his laugh. The door slammed shut by itself. The chairs dragged backward. The mirror cracked from top to bottom. Mama Toby shouted prayers louder, tears running down her face. For a moment, Toby's real voice broke through. "Mama, help me." Then his eyes rolled white again. The Night Mother whispered through him, "Third midnight." The lamp went out. By nightfall, the whole village heard the screams from Papa Toby's house. Men gathered outside with lanterns. Women prayed from their doorways. Children hid behind their mothers. Inside the house, the walls shook like something huge was breathing behind them. Mama Toby held her son and prayed, but an invisible force pulled him toward the center of the room. Papa Toby grabbed him and shouted, "You will not take him." The roof began to rattle. Then the Midnight Mother appeared. She rose from the floor like smoke becoming flesh, tall, silent and terrible, her white eyes fixed on Papa Toby. "You carry the blood of the man who betrayed me. she whispered. Papa Toby trembled, but he did not run. My father's sin is not my son's burden, he said. The spirit tilted her head. Blood pays blood. Mama Toby shouted, no, mercy must speak louder than blood. For the first time, the ghost looked at her. The house became silent. Then Toby collapsed. Papa Toby lifted him. We are taking him to the shrine. Mama Toby looked afraid. Back to that place? Papa Toby nodded. That is where it started. That is where it must end. Outside, the villagers stepped back as the family came out to carry Toby. Above them, the crowds moved in circles. The third midnight had begun. The forest was waiting as Papa Toby and Mama Toby and the villagers entered the shrine. Every candle light by itself. Babakuro stood beside the old stone, holding his lantern. Papa Toby shouted, you knew everything from the beginning. Babakuro answered, I serve the depth, I do not create it. Mama Toby placed Toby inside the ritual circle. The boy was breathing, but his eyes remained white. Then the night mother appeared behind the shrine, taller than before, her hair spreading across the fog like dark smoke. She said, the child is mine. Papa Toby stepped forward. Take me instead. Mama Toby cried, no. Papa Toby looked at her. I pushed him away. I opened the door. Let me close it. Babakuro shook his head. The spirit does not want your life. It wants what was promised. Papa Toby turned the ghost. Then hear me. Whatever my father promised, I break it today. My son is not payment. My family is not your property. The ground shook. The ghost screamed. The trees bent as if a storm had entered the forest. Toby began to rise from the ground, floating slightly above the ritual circle. Mama Toby ran forward and held his hand. She shouted, Toby, hear my voice. You are my son. Come back. For a moment, Toby's eyes returned to normal. Mama, the night mother rushed towards them like a black wind. Papa Toby grabbed the old stone and pushed it down with all his strength. It cracked. Babakuro screamed, no. The candles exploded, bright flames. The ghost voice filled the forest. Depth cannot die. Papa Toby shouted, but chains can break. The shrine stone split open, revealing an old family name caved inside. Papa Toby's family name. He took a burning branch and struck the cave name. The fire spread across the stone. The night mother screamed louder, but the sound became weaker and weaker. Toby fell into his mother's arm. The fog began to clear. Babakuro's Latin went dark. The villagers stared in shock as the shrine collapsed, dust and smoke. For the first time in many years, the forbidden forest heard human voices praying without fear. Toby opened his eyes. Papa Toby held him tight. I'm here, my son. I'm here. Morning came slowly. The village of Umuaja looked peaceful again. Birds sang. Smoke rose from cooking fires. Children stepped outside for the first time in days. Papa Toby walked home with his wife and son. No one spoke. Some victories are too heavy for celebration. At the doorway, Papa Toby stopped and turned to Toby. My son, he said, I am sorry. A father should protect, not reject. Toby looked at him with tired eyes. I was scared, Papa. Papa Toby nodded. So was I. Mama Toby placed her hands on both of them. This family will not be ruled by fear again. They entered the house together. For a moment, everything felt normal. Then, as Mama Toby went to light the morning fire, Toby turned slowly toward the mirror. His reflection smiled before he did. Toby froze. Behind him, two shadow hands appeared faintly in the glass. A whisper filled the room. Blood remembers. Toby turned around quickly. Nothing was there. Outside, Papa Toby called, Toby, come and eat. Toby looked back at the mirror. This time, his reflection looked normal. He forced a small smile and walked away. But deep inside the forbidden forest, beneath the broken shrine stone, one red candle slowly lighted by itself. The night mother was gone, but the dead was not forgotten. In a village where family secrets are buried deeper than graves, one boy will discover that some promises are made before birth and some spirits never forgive. This is not just a ghost story, this is a bloodline curse, the night mother.